Hey, Megan here with Rocky Mountain Sewing and Vacuum. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about the Pfaff Creative Icon and the embroidery capabilities on the machine. One of my favorite things that they've put on this machine is going to be the Pfaff Shape Creator, which enables you to create your own borders, which I think is fantastic for when you want to do quilt labels or want to put a border around someone's name or things like that. It's just a really neat thing that you can do. The other thing that I really enjoy is the Applique Creator that's on this machine. Because if I want to embroider something and then applique it onto something, I can certainly do that. Or if I want to add my own embellishment to whatever I'm working on, I can do that as well. So it is really neat, not to mention the stitch out on the Pfaff Creative Icon is absolutely beautiful with the active stitch technology. So I'm going to go ahead and tell the machine we're going to start embroidering, and it'll put us into the embroidery edit screen. Now, what is neat about the screen is I can kind of scale my hoop down, drag it around, do whatever I need to. I can also go into hoop options and change the color if I want to see what it'll look like on the fabric that I'm going to be using, put a grid on, any of that kind of stuff. So I like it just plain Jane with white, and then we're good to go from there. Now, the Creative Icon does have tons of designs that we can choose from. These are all different categories. And then on each category, there's tons of different stitches that you can choose from as well. But what we're going to talk about is these buttons down here. So the Stitch Creator is probably fairly recognizable. It's the same as on the sewing side. The Sequence Creator takes a little bit of finesse, but you can kind of determine what order things are stitched in, which is great. Now, the ones I want to talk about today are the Shape Creator and the Applique Creator. The Shape Creator I really enjoy because I can actually create my own borders and stuff. So if I go in here, I can use just typical shapes, or I can even do it in letters, which is really kind of fun, especially if you've got, new children in your family or things like that. So I'm going to do a heart and choose my shape. And then down here, I can use either more embroidery designs or stitches, or even ones that I can pull in from a USB stick or my sew net or any of that stuff. So what I like to do when I'm playing with this, though, is they actually have a category of mini stitches, so they're all really small. So I'm going to make a border using some of these guys. So since we're doing a heart, let's do a heart. I'm going to open my edit screen up and maybe drag this guy up a little bit so we can actually see what we're doing. So I'm going to choose a couple different hearts to do in this, though. So maybe let's do the last one too. There we go. So you can see I've got 3 different hearts around here. Over here, I can tell it to just keep repeating the last heart that I did. Or if I go there, I can tell it to repeat until I have a really cool border of as many little designs as I want. So you can really go crazy with it if you want. It's really kind of fun. And there we go. I've already got a border. So I can also make it bigger or smaller if I want. Kind of go crazy on that front. And then even here I can rotate it, turn it around. You can really just make it your own. And when I'm happy with it, I can press OK. And there we go. I've got my border, so I can go in and put a font in if I like. Maybe we do Rocky Mountain Sewing and Vacuum, because we're here. And then I can kind of resize that guy, bring it in, and make a fun little thing. Now, if I like where this is going so far, and maybe I want to turn this into an applique to put it on a shirt or something like that, I can go into the Applique Creator, and then this is going to look fairly similar. So I've got my shapes and my letters that I can do. So you can also do a monogram that's an applique or something like that. So I'm going to go in there, just pick a basic shape. Since we're doing hearts, might as well keep the theme. Make my shape a little bit bigger. Whoops, that's a little too big. And kind of make it so that it goes around my border I just did. Whoops. I can rotate it just using the little things on here. I can really make it my own. But there we go. So in a matter of minutes, I've already created my own applique and embroidery design with the border around a name if I like. And if I'm happy with it, I can go ahead and stitch it out. The machine calibrates a little bit, and then on this screen I can tell it all the different options that I've got here. So it knows that I've got my zigzag needle plate in. A lot of people prefer their straight stitch. It tells me what presser foot, and I can tell it actually I want to use the other one if I want. This I can toggle active stitch on or off. Most of the time I keep it on because it just does such a great job metering the thread and the fabric, so really gives you beautiful tension when you're embroidering. And then another thing that I really like to do, especially if I'm doing a big applique project or maybe multiple labels, is the color block sort, merge, and monochrome. You can make it so that everything stitches the same color or whatever you want to do. So I'm going to hit monochrome because I've just got the one color right now. Press OK. And now she's ready to stitch out. So let's get her hoop on. Okay, so I'm just going to slide my hoop in. Make sure I got it in the right spot. There we go. Whoop, my needle's not threaded, so I'm going to go ahead and do that with the magic needle threader on the Creative Icon. And then from there, I am ready to go, so I'm just going to go ahead and press play. And here we go. Then she's going to start stitching my hearts and making a shape. So it did ask me to just remove the thread tail, but it looks like she already got it, so we're going to just keep going from there, and it'll be good to go. There we go. What a cute little heart already. So, now I do have her stitching at top speed, but you'll notice that none of the bobbin thread is coming up or anything like that. I really think the stitch on the Creative Icon is absolutely beautiful when it's embroidering. So, I think it just makes it way more fun when your embroidery is just gorgeous and you don't have to stress about it or anything because it's doing the active stitch technology tension and all of that. So. And then from there, we're going to keep moving. One thing that's interesting about the icon is that sometimes it won't cut these big jump stitches, just like it did here. The reason they do that is so that there's less likelihood of it coming apart on the backside, which I think is pretty neat. I still will often go in and trim the ones on the top, but if I'm going to be putting it inside of something that's going to be lined, like a quilt with the batting and the backing on it, or things like that, I go ahead and leave the ones on the back side. That way you don't have to risk it coming apart later in life. So. And look at that, we're almost done with 2 of the hearts. I think for now I'm gonna let it do the last little heart for me as well. And then we might call it good for now. This guy is really, really cute, but you know, sometimes you just want to finish the project a little later. All right. There we go. So there's the first 3 shapes of my heart, and we can keep moving from there. So I know we're not going to stitch the whole thing out right this second, but as you can see on the screen, it is so easy to make those appliques and shapes and all those different things. So on the Creative Icon, it is really easy to make your embroidery projects your own and really create your own custom things, whether on the sewing side or the embroidery side. I hope that you come into one of our 4 locations at Rocky Mountain Sewing and Vacuum and check it out. I'd love to see what shapes you come up with too. So thank you for joining me today, and I hope you had fun like I did.